Hey, I'm singer-songwriter and producer Jared K.F. Jones, and this is the Illest Lines.
What's good, everybody? This is your B-Fam, Daniel Anthony, coming to you with another episode of the Illest Lines. And today's special guest is singer-songwriter. He does gospel, he does pop, he does pretty much all of it. So I'd like you to do me a favor and welcome Jared K.F. Jones. What's good, sir?
Thank you, man. How are you? I appreciate that intro.
Good.
A little bit of everything. Huh? That's a lot of weight now.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I got when I first came up on your music, it was about maybe I would want to say at the beginning of last year, and I know you've been doing it before then because one of the first things I saw from you was like back in 2014. Is that correct?
Okay. Yeah. Right on turn 13, 2014. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The very first thing that I noticed, not just in your pitch, but also as far as like, tone and everything, but just the style of music. I was telling my wife the other day that it's almost as if you got Michael Jackson and Neo and said, you know what? They need to be gospel singers.
I love that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, what I'm saying? So my question to you, I normally ask people what the influences are. So I want to get like a confirmation first. Is that kind of hitting it right on the nose? Are you like, are those like two of your main influences when it comes to your music?
Absolutely. I grew up on Michael. And watching his videos and seeing how he entertained and all that, big fan to this day. And that just absolutely just flowed into kind of what I do now. My first thing in terms of entertaining was first grade talent show, moonwalking on stage. So that goes in,
didn't we all?
Shows it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Heavily influenced, and many artists are. I've always had appreciation for his music, and Neo as well. I was talking about that a little early on a podcast I was doing. Great writer, great entertainer. And love both of those cats. Heavily influenced what I do now. Absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing I got to say, and we'll definitely get into a little bit of your history in a minute, but one thing I loved is that style that you have is like what people would consider pop, right? Mm-hmm. But you happen to do it in such a way where it's like it's not corny. I've heard a few people do it try to, and it's like they're doing a little too much. They're trying to make something that's not genuine. You know what I'm saying? Not or true to them, I should say.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal, especially when it comes to gospel, I think, because, gospel has one of those type of things where it's like, if it's not coming out of you, the true intention, or if you're not sounding like you're ministering, it's like, okay, then you're just doing it because you want to, get into particular
get in that lane. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did you ever feel like, well, first of all, let me get into the main question. When would you say was the first time you really got caught up in music itself to the point where you wanted to do it?
13 years old, never forget. And it started because I wanted to write a song about a girl. That was it. 13 years old.
Go back to my previous statement, didn't we all?
Right. 13 years old, too shy to talk to a girl. And so I went home and wrote a song about her. And I had gotten a karaoke machine with cassette tape decks and all that. And so after I wrote the song, and this is what really got me into music and recording, was to record the song. I wanted to do a multi-track. We only had, one karaoke machine. So I took one tape, recorded it, put that tape in the other side, played it while I recorded another, right? Man, and I did, 8 or 9 tracks that way, doing the music with my mouth and all that other stuff. So, and that would just fascinated me even to this day. I'm like, this is what I want to be doing, creating and sharing. So that's what started it.
Right. Yeah. Now I know we touched on a little bit of your influences, but during that time, that first introduction that you had to having the desire to do music, who was your influence during that time, or what songs were out during that time that you felt this is it?
Geez, 13, you're talking, oh boy. And I was still big on Mike and Stevie, even at that time. I wouldn't listen to the radio a bunch, but my mom had on in Boston, we had a station called 106.7, and that played like oldies and classics. So I listened to a lot of everything, but it was still, for me, Yeah, a whole bunch of Mike and a whole bunch of Stevie Wonder at that time, even still. Yeah.
And they have such, I mean, long history in music.
Timeless.
I mean, yeah, most definitely. I mean, you could hear pretty much anything, know that it's dated just because of when it came out, but because of either the chord progressions or the vocal arrangements, everything is like, oh man, it would definitely fit this
beautiful
time.
Music.
Today.
Yeah,
most definitely. And you could hear that in other artists, like PJ Morton is one of my favorites.
I was just listening to him yesterday, man. I was just listening to The Gospel According to PJ. I just had that on the title the other day.
And I'm telling you, it's like, and it's funny because for me, I've always been a Music Soul Child fan. Ever since he came out, right? To the point where like I found myself not trying to, do his style, but I loved it so much. Is the things that you love, they're gonna come out.
They're gonna influence. So,
majorly. So when I heard PJ Morton, I was like, okay, wait a minute. I didn't know he'd been out for so long. Like where have I been? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just everything that he does, I mean, it has the same type of vibe. In each song that he does, whether it's a fast song, slow song, mid-tempo, whatever it is, but those chord progressions, you know what I'm saying? Like those are what, And what I noticed about your music is that as pop-ish as it may be, it kind of has that same feel, that same vibe to it. And I kind of want to know like what's your history as far as like doing music in itself, as far as production or instruments or whatnot. Like what all do you play?
Man, so started with writing and singing. I was too shy to sing as a kid, so even like 8, 9 years old growing up in the church, I didn't really sing. I was too shy. But once I got interested in music in terms of writing music, and I would be in chorus class in school and all that, so vocals, main instruments, but also self-taught on the drums. So even to this day I play drums for the church. But in terms of production, I'd worked with a cat, he's like a brother of mine now, Azimdi. We started working together at 15, starting out in chorus class and doing things together. He's an amazing instrumentalist. And so he would compose tracks and I would top line and all that. So and then just fast forward to now, just over time, by necessity, learning how to do those things myself and dabbling in piano. I still don't call myself a piano player. I can put some things together and produce, right. But I'd want to get to that point where the next, 3 to 5 years really become more proficient in that. But music has always been around. My dad's a pastor, but he always sang. My mom would always sing in the church. So I've always kind of been around music.
Now, one of the things that I was reading about you had like a few different spots that you lived in. It was New Jersey, Boston, and where do you live right now?
I live in outside of Nashville right now. I'm about 25 minutes southeast of Nashville. I was born in Jersey, but I claim New Jersey still because growing up in Boston, where I spent and grew up most of my life, everybody was from Boston. So they said, where are you from? Like, I'm from New Jersey. Like, that's where I was born. That's where I'm from, right? But I spent most of my time in Boston, and only recently at the end of 2018, moved down here to Nashville.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like me too. Like, even though I was born in North Hollywood, California, I claim San Diego because I was mostly raised there, most of my childhood life. And that's, that's what I feel was the atmosphere that, kind of groomed me, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah.
So there was nothing involved in regards to like, military or anything like that. It was just, that's where you guys moved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Okay. And then, and my dad being a pastor, he was born in Jersey. That's where he was going to Junior University, for studies. And then even before Randolph or south of Boston was Chester, Pennsylvania, where he pastored, and then Boston. So mainly that. And then I came down to Nashville on my own. I was like, it's time for a change. Too much snow back home in Boston and time for a change.
I heard. So how drastic is the difference between Nashville and Boston?
The term night and day comes to mind.
Right. Kind of like Boston, California and Florida. I'm in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Boston's always going to be home. Home is always home.
Right.
The culture, there's things that you love and appreciate about it. And I can still appreciate, from a distance. It's good times up there still. Right. I haven't been back to visit in a long while with COVID.
Oh, okay. Yeah, same here. It's been, I think the last time I went to California was 2019. And I went by myself. My daughter was like, why are you going by yourself? But so to kind of go back on some of the history. So You said your dad's a pastor, so it sounds like you've been in it. PK obviously, has it been like since you were born, or like was there a point where you sought out your own moment where you got saved?
Got you. I mean, I've been a Christian since I was 8 years old. Gave my life to Christ when I was 8. And you know, at that time, I knew, I'm like, okay, it was made simple to me at the time. Right. I was around a lot of funerals.
Oh, got you.
And I would say, you know, why are people so happy? You know, homegoing service, what we call them, you know, in the Baptist tradition. It's like, why are people so happy? And so as I read, you know, the Bible and was in Sunday school, it's like, yeah, well, there's this king, you know, who he's the only reason why we're here, and he's how you're saved. And so very simplistically at the time, I'm like, yeah, well, I want to roll with him. I don't want anything else but that, you know. But through when I started out in the music, remember, I started, you know, early teenagers talk about girls, this and that. Right. And so even 18, 19, you know, coming into my own, I was really considering R&B, pop. Here's my lane. I want to do the artist thing and all that. Right, and at that time, I very quickly saw, do I really want that? I don't want to say I had a vision, but I kind of looked and was like, what does this look like some years down the line? Let's say you get big and successful, have this big tour. What do you come home to? Right. And I saw that, and I came home to like a penthouse apartment, empty, quiet. I was like, I don't want any part of that. Right. And it's not because of the style I was doing at all, because in and of itself, it's not bad. Right. But I just knew at that time I didn't want to pursue the artistry of it. I said, let me write. And so again, fast forward to, you know, writing some R&B and pop, doing some things for film and television, to just even this past 2019, when I came down here to Nashville, I said in prayer, Lord, what is it that I should be doing? Right. You have me down here now in Nashville. I want to write. But what is it should I be doing? He said, you're an encourager. That's who I created you to be. I want you to encourage. And for me, that was the moment. Even just recently, in these past few years, I knew and solidified, this is what I need to be doing. Christian gospel music, positive, uplifting, that encourages people, period. Like, that's it. So even recently is when I found, okay, this is my lane. This is what I need to be doing as an artist. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And you know, it's funny you say encouragement, and that it allows me to make a nice little transition into this. For your encouragement, man, that whole entire album is one of the best things that I've heard when it comes to gospel. Not only because of the fact that I like the blend of the pop and like the, you know, the whole the sound that you have in regards to your style itself. But so I'm listening to the whole thing, and the one that stood out the most was Dust. Like in the sand with no water, scattered by rushing wind. You don't know where to go. You don't know where to go. Questioning what you Dust to me was just, you know, like it spoke to every bit of the spirit that I feel and that people feel in general when it comes to, I just want to be used by you, Lord. Like it don't matter. Like you could allow me to have all the things that I want in life, but if I don't have you, you know what I'm saying? If you're not using me in this manner to touch whomever you want me to touch, to you know, reach out to encourage, to do this, that, and the other, then you know, what is it for? You know? Yeah. So, but yeah, Dust in itself, man. So
thank you, man.
Yeah, most definitely. So my question for that one, were you at a specific point in your life where something was going on, where that song in itself just made sense to you to just come out?
Here's the beautiful part about collaboration, man. Yeah. Because I had composed the track, and I had met a writer from Jacksonville, Florida. Her name is Tony Worthley. It's like a sister now. We've written a few more things together, and we wrote that song together because I reached out to her, and I think we'd already done another one. And I said, hey, do you have anything for this? I'm singing this track. Do you have anything? That was the concept. And as soon as I heard that concept, Dust, I said, we have to do that. Yeah. I said, this is going on the album. I knew before we even finished writing it, I said, this is going on the album because people need to hear it. And so that concept and story was pretty much from her. Like, you know, we would talk about how do we speak to that one who's crying out and who's broken. Because that's, again, who we looking to encourage, you know, in great times. You know, it's cool when things are going well, you still need that, you know, hey, keep things up. But the people that need the most encouragement is when they're at that low point, nowhere else to turn, crying out like, I'm at my lowest. Where do you look? And that's it. I mean, and so I have to give Tony Worthley, is the name, a tremendous amount of credit for that. Yeah, man. My gosh. And again, that concept in of itself said we have to do this. So yeah, so I give her a lot of credit for that. And actually is it one of my devotionals I have here? And I think I have a few more available at my website. This devotional book that goes along with the album.
Oh, right.
I had her write the devotional for that because I said, this is more than just the music, and there's devotional that goes along with each one of the songs. I said, this goes beyond me. This goes beyond the music. It's actually not even about me. It's a, how can we help point people in his direction? So yeah. I mean, and I'm excited to do it for that very reason. So yeah, for me too, this is probably my most played song, even for myself. Like I like listening to it.
And we got those ones, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
We got those ones because I remember being told a long time ago, if it doesn't minister to you first, it's not going to minister to anyone else. And this proves it too, because matter of fact, you and another one of my friends who had the same kind of situation where they were writing a song or got help from, with writing a song, I should say. And it was from the other person's point of view, but it was one of those things where it's a universal thing, so to speak, that feeling, and you understand it. And if you don't understand it, it's not going to come out the right way. So for you to be able to do that, that lets you know, okay, yeah, this is not just an artistry thing. This is something that God has actually put in you to be able to convey in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And definitely went along with that, with the line. So the line that I got to tell you is my favorite. It's the hook. That hook, man.
Just say, Lord, take this dust, make the treasure out of me. You are the potter, use me for your glory. Lord, take this dust, make the treasure out of me. You have the power to turn ashes into beautiful things. Dust.
Man, that in itself is kind of basically what you're talking about, because you allowed yourself to be used for the conveying of someone else's message. You know what I'm saying?
And to me, that's the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters. We could be gone. I tell everybody, so I could be gone tomorrow like that. And what matters is, again, hey, has God been able to use you? He's going to find a way to use you, whether you want to, right? Whether you submit to his will or not. He's going to find a way, to use you. So it's like, hey, well, then I want to be in obedience in accordance with, hey, Lord, what you want me to do. So, right. Thank you, man, for saying that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, most definitely. It definitely was touching the spiritual nerve. Most definitely. I was playing it over and over, man.
Nice. Good
but
deal.
I like the way that you allow yourself to still be artistic and used. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people have a hard time differentiating between the two. You know what I'm saying? Present company included. There's been many times that I felt like, you know what, I'm just gonna push forward anyways because I feel like singing, or I feel like writing, or I feel like doing this. You know what I mean? And I end up, clouding the lines there, you know what I'm saying? And, so my question to you about that is that how difficult do you find it, if you find it difficult at all, for you to be able to separate the two?
I really don't, to be honest. I have a I want to say I have a good internal filter, but the internal filter is just submitting to the Holy Spirit. That really is it. Like, I can't take any credit for it, because I think a lot of times if there are things that, I could do this, and it just doesn't come out because it either doesn't feel natural, right, anymore, or it doesn't feel like it has any substance. I think that's the biggest thing with me, is that if I feel like this doesn't have substance, I won't do it. I won't do it. Because I ask myself, well, why am I doing this? So I think that's it, is that instead of thinking about it in a separate, there's an internal filter, again, which I can only credit to the Holy Spirit, say, okay, why am I doing this? And if it feels right and natural, and it feels, I can tell you there was one time, oh gosh, how long ago was this? This was some years ago. And it was before I had really solidified what I wanted to do as an artist. that I was trying to write. I think some club type music from producer friends of mine from Florida. Go figure. And I couldn't do it. I was trying, and there was nothing. And I said, I can't force this. Nothing was coming out. And everything that was trying to come out felt forced. I said, no, this isn't me. So I think that was it. It's an internal filter that I think, okay, I'm confident now that, okay, whatever I write is going to be fulfilling and for the purpose that it's intended, or it won't be written, you know?
Right, exactly. Or it will never see the light of day.
Yeah.
If you could narrow it down to a song, matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and mesh these two pieces together. So, okay, what was the illest line that you ever heard that made an impact on you, and how did it actually help you understand the song even better?
And that's tough, man. You know how many songs we hear. I want to go back to a Neo song, of course, but I'm trying to go back and think again what really hit me. Oh boy, this is a tough one. I can say in a lot. You know what? Here's what I'll say. A lot of lines that hit me the most are the most simple lines. Are the simplest one, and the one that jumps out to me. And I remember this one very vividly because when I heard this on the radio, there was a lot of context around it. It was John Legend's "Ordinary People." John Legend, him, piano. We're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go. We're just ordinary people. Maybe we take it slow. So simple. I'm like, in the best lines for me, it's like, why didn't I think of that? Right. And so to hear this playing constantly on the radio at this time, and I believe I was, that was around my freshman year, I believe, in college. I'm like, man, number one, kudos to the fact that the radio is loving and all over this piano-based song, piano vocal. That was it. You listen, there's nothing else. There's no drums, there's no strings, there's no bass, there's nothing else. And so for me, even at this very moment, the simplicity and the beauty of that song, and to know that it could do be a worldwide mega success, even in its simplicity. I think that for me is the illest line that I've heard, because that's what it's about. It's the stuff that's from the heart. It's the stuff that's real. It's the stuff that resonates, you know? I think to me, John Legend's "Ordinary People," that chorus, the line that I've heard in its simplicity and beauty.
Yeah, you know, one thing I love about that song too is that he may have been kind of talking about, like on the surface, talking about a relationship, but that hook in itself, it works in all facets of life. You
Everything.
Like, you talking about taking it slow in a relationship, taking it slow in life, taking it slow in your career. You know what I mean? Like
career, family.
Yeah, most definitely. And those are some of the major things that we all have in common, that we all struggle with. Just those decision-making moments where it's like, oh man, like what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? You know what I mean? One of the things that I love is being able to hear somebody say, you know what, I struggled with this, I struggled with that, couldn't make a decision, and finally I just went ahead and started. Because you can't get to a certain point of even being involved in something if you don't start. You know what I'm saying? You can't be involved in ministry if you don't start. You know what I'm saying? So
and giving yourself permission to go in and at your own pace. There's so much that we see now that is okay. This is success, and it's like, okay, I got to reach that. It's like, no, you don't. No, you have to start. Just like you said, one foot in front of the other. Okay, what's the next thing? Not what's the next 100 things. No, what's the next thing? All right, cool. All right. You know, we need more of that now than ever, because we're in everybody's world 24/7. We're in everybody's world with the click button. We can, you know, right? Or at least what people want us to see and want us to believe, right? Oh boy, yeah.
And that's a major thing, you know. That's definitely a major thing. So let everybody know, you know, whoever, if they don't know how to reach you or whatever, if they want to, you know, get in touch with you in any way, shape, or form, you know, what's your social media and all that?
Hit me on, best way to reach me is email. I love when people email me about anything. It can be literally about anything. Jared@jaredkfjones.com, or all over Instagram @JaredKFJones. I think that's the main, you know, if DM me on Instagram or definitely my website, jaredkfjones.com. But I love getting emails. I really do.
Cool.
And I
almost old school.
yeah. It's like, because it's cool. I desire to build connections and relationships with people. So you will, if anybody emails me, you will get an email back directly from me. It won't just be a hey, thanks. I would love to start a dialogue and conversation, because that's what it's about, man. Connections, man. Yeah.
Most definitely. Oh, you know what? There was one thing I totally forgot. I totally missed. I totally missed. All right. Your name. What does the KF stand for?
Good question. Kirk Frederick.
Okay.
Kirk after my dad. And to be honest, I gotta go back and ask them. Oh, no. my grandfather. Fred Jones, his name. So the Frederick is from Frederick Jones. Jared Kirk Frederick Jones, my dad, and then my grandfather. Yeah.
Okay, so you must be partially Latino, because I only know Latinos that have like 4 or more names in their whole moniker. I'm surprised I only got 3.
As far as I know. Oh, that's great. No, it's as far as I know. No. Well, and we kept the tradition going with my son. So he has the hyphen name, and hopefully we keep that tradition going.
Nice. All right. Well, I definitely appreciate your time right now, man. And, honestly, if there's anything that you need from me, let me know, and vice versa, man.
Your brother absolutely will be.
Yes, sir.